I want to talk today about a community of people dancing.
Come on out and fish dance. It's fun.
One after another in single file, they move slowly in a counterclockwise circle. A group of singers stands off to one side, and as they join their voices in a unison melody, over the beat of a handheld water drum and horn rattles, they see the face of each person who dances by. One after another they come forward, all dancing the same dance, but each in their own way. In traditional regalia or street clothes, some absorbed and solemn, others joyful, playful, or distracted. All different kinds of people are present and involved, with many body types, skin tones, ages. The songs they dance to have been heard in this place for centuries. The singers learned the songs through oral tradition, by ear and from recordings. Written down, the songs for this one dance would fill a dozen pages, and that is only a small portion of the repertoire in the singers' memories. These are social dance songs of the Onondaga or Seneca Nation, one of the 6 nations of the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois Confederacy. Seneca speakers call them Yoadzatge Ka Gainotson, earth songs.
For my people, this is a strong, powerful gift from our ancestors that they made sure that we still have it. So that's what I tell my kids. I tell them that. I teach them that. And I teach them that, they struggled so that you can have this.
The line of faces coming forward matches the way Seneca master singer Bill Crouse learned traditional songs. Now a head faith keeper on Ohio, the Allegheny territory of the Seneca Nation, Bill learned from his great-grandfather Richard Johnny John and his great-uncle Avery Jimerson. As a teenager, Bill would goof around with the other boys during ceremonies, until one day Avery pulled him aside and told him to sit next to him. It was time he learned to sing. Avery gave him a cassette tape recording of a 100-song cycle for a particular ceremony and told Bill to learn it over the weekend. He told him to smoke a pipe and study early in the morning, and while Bill was doing that, he saw the songs coming to him like a row of faces. Haudenosaunee people have always used earth songs to gather their own community and to give thanks to their broader family of animals and other beings. Unlike ceremonial songs, which are closed to non-Haudenosaunee people like me, and in the case of medicinal songs are restricted even within that community to those who need them, Seneca social dance is still used to welcome outsiders at the Woods Edge clearing into the community, as Bill and his group were doing at the recent Indigenous Peoples Day in Rochester. Thinking about the circle of dancers moving ever forward can also help move scholarly discussions of Native music away from an unhelpful dichotomy between tradition and modernity. Scholars, going back to the first study of the Haudenosaunee by Lewis Henry Morgan in 1851, have assumed that Native music and dance was a static tradition rooted in the past. In contrast, the indigenous image of the line of dancers moving ever forward connects ancestors to present and future generations in a tradition of continuous adaptation and renewal. Today I want to propose that even as Seneca singers remember songs by visualizing the community, they also remember the community in the songs. Seneca singers transform a local network of social relationships into a localized song repertoire that embodies the community's history. A community that remembers itself through song can dance confidently into the future. I'll focus on 2 dances, one very old dance known in English as the standing quiver dance, and one that is being constantly remade, known as New Women's Shuffle Dance. Before exploring these examples, it is necessary to orient Seneca social dance songs within a Haudenosaunee worldview that is rooted in gratitude for a network of reciprocal relationships. The ethic of gratitude is cultivated in the traditional speech known as Ganonyonk, or the Thanksgiving Address, which is said at the beginning and ending of any formal Seneca gathering. The speaker calls all present to unite their minds as one in acknowledging and extending gratitude to all the elements of the creation as known in this specific region. As Haudenosaunee teachers like Leon Shenandoah and John Mohawk have expounded, the Thanksgiving Address grounds the community in gratitude for the way that each person finds themselves already enmeshed in a web of reciprocal relationships to other people, to the created world, and to the Creator. We receive life from the elements of the world and owe them gratitude and respect in return. By referencing Hatdeongwetdage, all the different kinds of people, at the beginning, and teachers and leaders at the end, Seneca people acknowledge what is true for all of us. We received our language, ceremonies, food, stories, and songs from ancestors and teachers who stewarded these traditions for our sake. When Bill Crouse calls Seneca people to dance then, he is inviting the community to join in a line that stretches back to the ancestors and forward to the next generation. Calling the people together is exactly the purpose of Gat Dasho, standing quiver dance.
Long ago, the leader of our group would go in the center of the village and give a holler and stand up his quiver of arrows. He then would be calling to the rest of his group to come out and join him, and one by one they would put their quivers of arrows out in the center of the village as well. They danced around them, stomping their feet and doing this dance to ask for good luck or a blessing as they were leaving to go either hunting or to battle.
Euro-American witnesses of the 17th and 18th centuries report hearing a marching or trotting dance with call and response, and there are accounts of people hearing Haudenosaunee warriors singing as they approached. This is a good example of what ethnomusicologist Beverly Diamond calls Native American ways of music history, where the music itself is a form of historical discourse that brings the past into the present.
So I think about those guys paddling along, wearing their good clothes. Maybe they're going to trade somewhere or going somewhere. Maybe they're dressed for war. Maybe that's what they call it, you know. But they're as they're going along, they're singing this. So how cool is it to have history like that? And the thing to me, you know, I think about music and I think about ceremony, of course, and social dance even, that it's a miracle, you know, that we have anything. Because I know a lot of tribes and a lot of people around us, tribal groups, don't have that. A lot of tribal groups don't have their language, you know, so to me, it seems like, you know, that all the stuff that happened in our past, no matter what happened, they kept singing. And I know for a fact, because I grew up through the Kinzu era, okay, as a little kid. That was going on when I was a baby. And I grew up through that. I saw that. There was times when they didn't feel like singing and dancing, you know, but they kept going and they kept it going. They kept that ceremonial circle going. And, you know, it's like, wow. So to us, we look at it not as a job, but as a responsibility, I guess, to pass it on, because they didn't let it go. So there's a reason that they did that. And now, you know, when I do that, like I said, and sing that, and everybody dances that, it's like, it's strong. We're still here, and we celebrate that. So that's what music is about for us.
You know, hearing all the older members making songs, it really brought me to, you know, I wanted to be a songwriter. And so I started making my own songs.
There is one type of social dance in which singers are allowed to make up new songs, and that is escanye, or New Women's Shuffle Dance. The dance is for women to dance exclusively, and they dance with a shuffle step that stays close to the earth. The songs for this dance are the newest, but the movements are considered the oldest dance, because in the Haudenosaunee creation story, Sky Woman danced this dance to lay down the earth we live on.
The birds put her on the back of the giant turtle. A bunch of animals try to get the dirt, and then once they get to the dirt, she dances around in a counterclockwise circle, kind of shuffling her feet to get the dirt in, and the turtle's back grew more and more into what we call North America.
This is a story not only about how things came to be, that is, a history, but a story about how they are continually being renewed. Seneca philosopher John Mohawk wrote, "The renewable quality, the sacredness of every living thing that connects human beings to the place they inhabit is the single most liberating aspect of our environment. Somehow, 3,160 tons of water can flow over Niagara Falls every second, and the water never runs out. The falls are 12,000 years old, even though the water is always different. The mothers keep giving birth to new generations, and face after face they pass by. And though a person dies, the people live on.
My ancestors couldn't dance, but we could for them, you know? Like there are laws and residential schools, and they couldn't dance, so I dance for them personally.
Because some of our elders can't get up anymore, so we dance in a certain circle for them.
Dancing, these young women are mindful of a long line of women before them all the way back to Sky Woman. In the same way, the songs for Escanier are continually renewed, and like the earth under Sky Woman's feet, laid down in layers. One of the main opportunities for singing social dance songs is at an event called a sing, a singing competition between different singing societies who share and trade sets of women's dance songs.
We saw those old guys, coming up with whole sets, and me and my cousin, we were just young guys, and it's like, hey, we're gonna make some songs too. So we did. So we each brought a song to practice and sang it, and they encouraged us to do that, and they said, all right. They put it right in. We didn't get cut. They put it right in, and I was like, wow.
The singers invent new songs and store up songs learned from teachers and friends, preserving genealogies of teaching and shared musical experience over generations. Seneca singers talk about making a song, not composing it. The songs must follow the same basic structure and beat, otherwise the dancers cannot do the dance correctly. Beyond that, singers can be creative in making songs that express their own experience.
First song I ever made, I woke up singing. I woke up singing. I grabbed a recorder. That was it.
In the latest songs that I made, "Your days of your dawn." First was strawberries, like all the wild strawberries. And it pretty much goes right off Arcanone.
So when I made that song, we were shooting, hunting a lot, and shooting a lot of deer, and then we go sing in practice, and I was like, well, I'll make a song about that. So I did.
Not only do the songs talk about contemporary experiences, but this genre has its ears open to the outside world in terms of style. Compared with Standing Quiver, which is plausibly older, new women's shuffle dance songs are more consistently diatonic, and some suggest Western major key harmony. In the 1950s, anthropologist William Sturdivant recorded some of Bill's relatives singing women's dance songs that drew on turn-of-the-century popular songs like Hot Time in the Old Town Tonight. Some of the songs even feature polyphony, something not found anywhere else in Seneca traditional music. Singing and dancing Escanier still emphasizes continuity with those who came before. In older songs, speaks of the practice of singing itself.
Basically, what's being said is that what's going on here is also going on up there. Okay. And we're using it. It's good fun, and it makes our minds, it keeps us occupied. Is what it is really what it means.
It's like, we're carrying on what the older guys used to do. We're still continuing. Taking songs, making songs, and we're putting a set together and taking it to the same, and honoring our fire here at Oviedo and Allegheny.
Seneca singers use social relationships to remember songs, visualizing a line of faces dancing by. The same image matches the story and structure of Standing Quiver dance, and this approach enables singers to lay down ever new layers of new women's shuffle dance songs that are tied in their memory to relatives and teachers who sang them. Being grounded in relationships with ancestors, parents, and teachers enables them to respond creatively and inventively to the needs of the present and future. Instead of positioning Indigenous people on one side or the other of a modern rupture, we can see them moving forward as they always have in a long and unbroken line. As Yolanda Broyles-Gonzalez says of Indigenous people in Mexico, appropriation and adaptation of new elements is integral to the evolution and survival of indigenous musical forms, heritage, and civilization. Or as many indigenous artists have put it, it has always been traditional to be contemporary. These songs survive because their singers survive, within a social framework that preserves them and their cultural heritage. And in this way, the line of dancers keeps moving ever forward.